I'm Morganna. Welcome to the Rifugio Digitale. We are so proud to have you here. You come from Melbourne, Australia, so it's such a long journey from Melbourne to Florence. We are exhibiting here your work in this particular path that we created for Rifugio Digitale, called Dark Whispers. That is a kind of mix of your latest projects. So all of your latest projects revolve around the relationship with nature. And growing up in Australia probably means to have a connection between the civilized and the wild, way closer than we have as European people. So what kind of relationship do you have with nature, and why nature is such a big source of inspiration for you?
Firstly, thank you so much for inviting me to be part of the exhibition program. My relationship with nature is as pure and honest to me as my relationship with my family, my relationship with my daily life. I feel most centered and most myself when I'm in nature, and I quite often say that I feel like the civilized world as it is make-believe, and nature is reality. In Australia, we certainly have a closer proximity to nature. However, I do find in the general culture, there is a push against nature. There is a wanting to be civilized. There is a wanting to connect with colonial norms that don't fit with the land that we are on. The land that we are on is wild, and it is incredible to be able to live in a place where so much wildness still exists. However, as the population soars and the urban life sprawls, these beautiful areas of nature are becoming more and more in threat. So part of the reason that I make this work, which is all made in close proximity to my home, is a way to not only celebrate what is there, but almost create an elegy to what may not exist for my lifetime. So all of my work now, whether it's photos of people or animals or nature, all has that element of mourning almost for what we may lose if we continue on the path that we're on.
Yeah. Animals and children are a recurring presence in your work. From a symbolic point of view, what do they represent in your narrative?
Well, there's a phrase that is used now quite commonly, which is more than human. So rather than thinking of the human world as the dominant and most important life form, thinking of this more than human world, bigger than us. So for me, animals, I'm a person that from the second I was born, I was connected to animals. I feel like I can have a very easy relationship with animals, and I feel most connected, I would say, to animals usually. So being able to photograph them is the greatest joy of my life. It brings me all the happiness and brings me complete peace. Again, photographing them is a way to celebrate them, especially the Australian animals that I feel like quite often have had a representation that is very stereotyped. So it's been really lovely to photograph them in different ways. The children that I photograph specifically are my niece and nephew. So I think with this idea of an elegy and this idea of mourning, of what may no longer exist in my lifetime, it's also quite a beautiful thing to look at the innocence of children. My niece and nephew live in the country. They don't live close to me. They live probably a 2-hour drive away. So I don't get to see them very often. But when I do get to see them, there is this kind of pure exchange that happens of them enjoying nature, of them enjoying being outside. And I think also of them feeling that their auntie can celebrate them as not only as people, but as symbols for something bigger in this world.
Yeah, thank you, Morganna. I see so many different levels in your work. I mean, personal, poetic, symbolic, political even. So I'm really sure that Rifugio's audience will love your exhibition. Thank you for being with us.